Sounds too small, right? But it's true. Many people think they need big study plans. They try to learn for hours. They sit for 3 hours one day, and then nothing for a week. That is not how the brain works. Think about this. Do you go to the gym one time and expect strong muscles? No. You go again and again. You lift small weights, but you come back. You build your body slowly. It's the same with English. Your brain is also a muscle. It needs training. It needs movement. And 5 minutes every day is better than one big study day. You do not need perfect grammar. You do not need long books. You just need one small action. Every day. Today, I will show you how 5 minutes a day can help you. I will show you what to do in those 5 minutes. I will also give you real examples, so you can try. I will tell you why it works. And most of all, I will remind you, you can do it. Even if you are busy, even if you are tired, you can give just 5 minutes. Okay, so let's begin. Imagine this. You wake up, you stretch your arms, you feel sleepy, but you sit up, take your phone, and open a short English story. You read 3 sentences. That takes 1 minute. Now you listen to the same 3 sentences. That's 2 minutes more. Then you repeat the sentences out loud. You say them slowly. You copy the voice. That's 5 minutes. That's it. But your brain says thank you. Your brain is awake now. It heard English. It said English. It worked a little. And tomorrow, you do the same. This is what we call a language habit. A small thing that you do often. Just like brushing your teeth. And here is the secret. Small habits are strong. They grow. You may think 5 minutes is too small. But no, it's enough. 5 minutes a day is 35 minutes a week. That's more than 2 hours a month. That's real time. And it feels easy. So you come back again. You don't feel tired. You feel happy. You feel strong. You feel like, yes, I can do this. And that's how you grow. That's how you win. Now let me give you some easy 5-minute ideas. You can choose one each day. You can mix them. The key is keep it short, keep it simple, but do it every day. Number 1. Listen and repeat. Pick one short audio clip. It can be a small story, or one person talking, or just 3 sentences from this podcast. Listen once. Then play it again and speak with the voice. Try to match the speed. Try to copy the sound. Try to follow the rhythm. Even if you don't understand every word, just speak. This will help your mouth. It will help your memory. It will help your ears. That's 5 minutes. Easy, right? Number 2. Talk to yourself. I know it sounds funny, but it works. Talk about what you are doing. Say simple things. I am making tea. I am washing my face. I am getting ready for work. Say them slowly. Say them clearly. No one is listening. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to speak. 5 minutes is enough. Number 3. Write one paragraph. It can be about your day, or your dream, or your plan for tomorrow. You can say, today I was happy. I saw my friend. We ate lunch. The sun was hot. I drank cold water. That's it. No long story. Just one small paragraph. Try to write new words. Or just simple ones. It helps your brain. It helps your thinking. It helps you express yourself in English. Number 4. Read out loud. Open one small text. Maybe a children's book. Maybe a small English story. Read it slowly. Read it with feeling. Speak the words. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. Just enjoy the sound. Reading out loud helps your voice. It helps your brain connect to the language. It helps you feel the language. Number 5. Review one word. Just one word each day. That's right. 1. Choose a word you don't know. Look at it. Say it. Write it. Make one sentence with it. For example, the word bright. You can say, the sky is bright today. Then close your eyes. Say the word again. Bright. Picture it in your mind. Now move on. That's 5 minutes. That one word will stay with you. Now let me tell you what happens after 1 week. You did 5 minutes a day. That's 35 minutes. Maybe more. Now you know 7 new words. You feel more used to English. You are not afraid of English. You are not shy. You are starting to enjoy it. And when you enjoy something, you want to do it more. After 1 month, you feel stronger. You don't stop when you speak. You say more words. You use simple sentences, but you speak. That is the goal. That is the magic. It's not about big study days. It's about small steps. Every day, again and again. So now I want you to try. After this episode, take 5 minutes. Choose one thing. Speak. Write. Listen. Read. Just do one. Then tomorrow, do it again. And the next day. And the next. Don't wait for the weekend. Don't wait for the perfect day. Just do 5 minutes. Every day. That is your power. You will grow. You will change. And one day, you will look back and say, wow, I speak English now. I feel good. I feel free. And all this started with 5 minutes. Okay, my friend. That's all for now. I'll be back soon with more ideas. But today, I want you to promise me. Just 5 minutes. That's your gift to yourself. That's your path to better English. This is Ariel, and you are listening to Bookish English. Keep going. Keep smiling. I believe in you. Now let me tell you a little secret. 5 minutes is not just about English. It's also about your mind. It's about how you see yourself. When you do something every day, even for 5 minutes, your brain says, I can trust this person. You feel proud. You feel strong. You build discipline. And that discipline becomes a habit. And that habit becomes who you are. You say, I am the kind of person who learns. I am the kind of person who takes action. So, this 5-minute English practice is not small. It is powerful. It builds something inside you. Now you may ask, what if I miss one day? That's okay. We are all human. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we are sick. Sometimes we are busy. But here is the rule. If you miss one day, do not miss 2. 1 day is a mistake. 2 days is a new habit. So come back. The next day, come back. Do it again. Say to yourself, it's okay. I missed 1 day, but I am still growing. I am still learning. That's the mindset. That's the spirit. Now I want to give you more fun ideas for your 5 minutes. These ideas are small, but helpful. First idea, watch a short video with subtitles. Choose a video with slow English. Maybe one of my episodes. Or maybe a short conversation. Turn on the English subtitles. Listen and read at the same time. Try to understand the feeling. Try to enjoy the sound. Then stop the video. Repeat one sentence out loud. Just one sentence. Say it with the same voice. With the same rhythm. That's a good 5-minute practice. Here is another idea. Open a dictionary app. Pick one random word. Any word. Don't worry if it's strange. Just read the word. Look at the meaning. Look at one example. Then speak the word out loud. Try to make your own sentence. Maybe the word is window. Okay. You can say, I opened the window this morning. That's it. Simple and useful. Next idea, use flashcards. There are many apps for this. You can make your own, too. Write 5 new words on cards. One side is the word. The other side is the meaning. Look at the word. Try to remember the meaning. Then check. You can do this in 5 minutes. It helps your memory. It helps your vocabulary grow. Now, one more idea I really love. Describe a photo. Open your phone. Look at any picture. It can be your family or a place you visited. Now, talk about it in English. What do you see? Who is in the picture? What are they doing? What are they wearing? Make small sentences. Say, "This is my mother. She is smiling. We are in the park. It was a sunny day." This is real English. You are talking about real life. It connects your language to your heart. Okay, now let's talk about something very important. Motivation. What makes you come back every day? What keeps you going? Many people start, but only some people continue. Why? Because they forget their why. So let's talk about your why. Why do you want to learn English? Is it for travel? Is it for a new job? Is it to meet new friends? Is it just for fun? Write your reason. Put it on a paper. Stick it on your wall. Look at it every day. This reason is your fuel. When you feel lazy, look at it. When you feel tired, read it again. Say to yourself, 5 minutes for my dream. I can do this. That's how you stay strong. That's how you keep walking forward. Now let's imagine one more thing. Let's say you do this for 100 days. Just 5 minutes each day. What will happen? You will know 100 new words. You will feel more comfortable speaking. You will understand English more easily. You will smile when you hear English. You will say, "I know this. I understand this." You may even help someone else. You may say, "Hey, I learned this word. Let me show you." That's the power of small steps. They lead to big changes. So now, let me give you a small plan. It's just a sample. You can change it, but maybe it helps you start. Day 1. Listen and repeat one short sentence. Day 2. Write 3 sentences about your day. Day 3. Read out loud one small paragraph. Day 4. Watch a short video with subtitles. Day 5. Learn one new word. Day 6. Describe a photo. Day 7. Review what you did. Just go back. Repeat 1 or 2 things you liked. Then start again. That's 1 week. 1 simple week. You can do this. You don't need a teacher. You don't need a classroom. You just need your voice, your heart, your time, and 5 minutes. I also want to tell you this. You are not alone. Many people around the world are learning English just like you. Some are in small towns. Some are in big cities. Some are young. Some are older. But all of them are trying. All of them are learning. And you are part of this big, beautiful team. So be kind to yourself. Don't say, "My English is bad." Say, "My English is growing." Don't say, "I can't do it." Say, "I'm learning step by step." That is the real power. That is the real magic. Your words are important. Your voice matters. So let it grow. Let it shine. 5 minutes a day is all it needs. Just like water for a flower. Just like light for a tree. You are growing. You are becoming better. 1 minute at a time. 1 word at a time. 1 small action every day. That's how you build something great. That's how you become the English speaker you want to be. Now let's talk about something special. Let's talk about your day. Every day, you do many things. You wake up. You get dressed. You eat. You go to work or school. You do small things. And these small things can become your English practice. Let me show you how. When you wake up, you can say, "Good morning." Say it to yourself in English. Then say, "I am getting out of bed." Then say, "I am brushing my teeth." This is speaking. This is practice. You are using your real life to learn English. No books. No grammar rules. Just you and your words. You can do this at home. You can do it in the car. You can do it while cooking. Just 5 minutes. Talk about your actions. Say what you see. Say what you feel. Say it in simple English. The sky is blue. I feel tired. This tea is hot. These are small things. But your brain is listening. Your brain is learning. Your brain is saying, yes, English is part of my life now. This is called living the language. It means using English in your real world. It's easy. It's natural. And it helps you grow fast. Now let me tell you a small story. There was a woman named Lena. She was from Egypt. She wanted to learn English, but she had no time. She worked all day. She cooked for her family. She was tired at night. She said, I only have 5 minutes. So she used those 5 minutes. Every morning, she looked in the mirror. She said one sentence. I can speak English. That's it. Then the next day, she added one more. I am strong. Then the next day, another. I am learning English today. These were small words. But her voice became stronger. Her heart became stronger. She started to believe in herself. After 1 month, she started saying longer things. Today I feel happy because I listened to English. I will practice for 5 minutes. And slowly, she changed. She didn't go to a school. She didn't buy a book. She just used her mirror, her voice, her 5 minutes. And now she speaks well. She feels good. She even helps other people. That is the power of 5 minutes. Now maybe you ask, but Ariel, I want to speak fast. I want to understand fast. I understand. We all want fast results. But learning is not a race. It's not about speed. It's about the journey. It's about showing up every day. Even when you are busy. Even when you are tired. Even when you don't feel like it. That is real strength. That is real learning. And here's the funny part. When you stop thinking about fast progress, it comes faster. Because your mind is calm, your heart is happy, and your English flows. So trust the process. Don't rush. Don't stress. Just 5 minutes. Every day? That is enough. That is more than enough. Let me tell you something important. You already have English inside you. Yes, it's there. You have watched movies. You have listened to songs. You know some words. Maybe you say hello, or thank you, or coffee. These are small, but they are seeds. Seeds in your brain. And every 5 minutes is like water. It helps the seeds grow. One day, they become sentences. Then they become stories. Then they become conversations. But it starts small. Always small. And that's beautiful. That's the natural way. Like how babies learn. They hear words. They repeat sounds. They say mama or milk. Then one day, they speak full sentences. No grammar book. No tests. Just daily life. Just daily words. You can learn like this too. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Every day, for 5 minutes. So here is a small challenge. For the next 7 days, give 5 minutes to English. That's all. But do it every day. On day 1, listen to one short sentence and repeat it. On day 2, write 2 small sentences about your day. On day 3, look at one photo and describe it in English. On day 4, watch a short video with subtitles and say one line out loud. On day 5, read 5 new words and make one sentence for each. On day 6, talk to yourself about what you are doing. Say things like, I am washing dishes, or I am walking to the store. On day 7, review your favorite thing from the week. Say it again. Do it again. Feel happy. Feel proud. Because you did it. You gave your time. You gave your voice. You took action. That is real learning. That is real success. And after 7 days, do it again. Make a new 7-day plan. You can use the same ideas. Or change them. It's your time. It's your voice. It's your journey. Make it your own. Remember, no one is perfect. We all make mistakes. Even native speakers make mistakes. But they keep speaking. They don't stop. You don't need to speak like a native. You just need to speak like you. That's enough. That's beautiful. And 5 minutes a day will help you find your voice. It will help you feel free. It will help you enjoy English. Not fear it. Not fight it. But enjoy it. And that, my friend, is the real goal. To feel good. To feel proud. To say, I am learning. I am growing. I am doing my best. And your best is always enough. Always. Now I want to give you one more idea. This idea can make your 5 minutes even better. Are you ready? Here it is: repeat the same thing again and again. Yes, repetition. That means doing something again. You don't need something new every day. You don't need a new video, a new word, a new sentence every single time. No, your brain loves to repeat. Your brain learns better with the same thing. Let me explain. Imagine this. On Monday, you hear a sentence. I'm going to the store. You repeat it 5 times. On Tuesday, you say it again. On Wednesday, again. On Thursday, again. On Friday, your mouth knows the sentence. You say it fast. You say it clearly. You don't think. You don't stop. It just comes out. That is learning. That is fluency. Fluency means easy speaking. It means your mouth knows the words. It means your brain doesn't need to think too much. And repetition helps you reach fluency. It helps your brain and your mouth work together. So please, don't worry if your practice is simple. Simple is good. Easy is good. Repeating is good. If you like one short video, watch it again. Listen again. Speak again. Shadow again. Do it for 5 days. You will feel a big difference. You will feel progress. You will feel growth. Now let me tell you what some learners do wrong. They jump from one thing to another. Today they listen to a podcast. Tomorrow they read a big article. Then they watch a movie. Then they try grammar. Then they feel lost. Then they feel tired. Then they stop. Why? Because it's too much. Too fast. No focus. No rest. No joy. But when you keep it small and repeat, you feel safe. You feel strong. You feel calm. That's the secret. Learning should not make you tired. It should make you happy. So be kind to yourself. Choose one small thing. Repeat it for 5 minutes every day. That's the way. That's the secret path. Now maybe you are asking, but Ariel, when will I speak with other people? When will I use English in real life? Good question. Very good question. Let me explain. First, you build your English alone. You build your voice. You build your confidence. You build your courage. Then, when the time comes, you will feel ready. You will speak with someone. Maybe at work. Maybe at school. Maybe online. Maybe on a trip. And you will say, "Hello? How are you?" And the other person will answer. You will feel shy, but you will smile. You will speak again, and again, and again, and suddenly, you are having a conversation. You are not just learning. You are using. That's the goal. That's the dream. But first, 5 minutes a day. First, the small steps. Then the big ones. Okay. Now let me tell you another short story. There was a man named Diego. He was from Brazil. He loved music. But his English was not good. He could not understand songs. He wanted to learn, but he didn't like grammar. He didn't like books. So he made a new plan. Every morning, for 5 minutes, he listened to one English song. Just one. He listened again and again. He looked at the lyrics. That means the words of the song. He read them. He sang them. He repeated one line again and again. After 1 month, he could sing one full song. After 2 months, he could sing 3 songs. After 6 months, he could speak better. He said, "Music helped me. 5 minutes a day helped me." Now he teaches English with songs. He helps others. He shows them how small steps can change everything. And you can do this too. If you love music, use music. If you love food, use food. Read a recipe. Watch a cooking video. If you love travel, use travel. Watch travel stories. Talk about places. Say, "I want to visit London." Or, "I want to eat pizza in Italy." Use what you love. Your passion helps your memory. Your love helps your learning. That is the best way. That is the fun way. That is the smart way. Now let me give you one more tip. Ready? Speak slowly. That's right. Speak slowly. Many learners want to speak fast. But fast is not the goal. Clear is the goal. Confident is the goal. So speak slowly. Say each word clearly. Feel the words. Feel the meaning. Breathe between sentences. Don't rush. It's not a race. It's a conversation. And when you speak slowly, you think better. You feel better. The listener understands you better. And you understand yourself. So, in your 5 minutes, don't try to be fast. Try to be clear. Try to be strong. That's real progress. That's real learning. One more thing before we end today. Are you proud of yourself? You should be. You are here. You are reading this. You are learning. You are trying. That means a lot. That means you care. And that means you will grow. Slowly, gently, but surely. Day by day, minute by minute, word by word. And it all starts with 5 minutes. I walked to the counter. I gave my ticket to the man. He looked at it. He nodded. He asked for my passport. I gave it to him. He looked at the photo. He looked at my face. He gave it back. He said, "Your gate is number 6. I said thank you. I walked away. I saw signs on the wall. They showed arrows. The arrows pointed to the gates. I followed the arrows. I walked slowly. I looked around. I saw people reading books. I saw people talking on the phone. I saw people sleeping. Some people looked tired. Some people looked excited. I walked past a shop. It sold snacks. I smelled coffee. I wanted coffee, but I did not stop. I kept walking. I saw a man with a large bag. The bag looked heavy. He put it down. He sat on a chair. I walked past him. I saw a family. The mother held a baby. The baby was crying. The father held a bag. The bag was full. I walked past them too. The signs showed me another arrow. I followed it. I saw my gate. Gate number 6. There were many chairs. Some people were sitting. Some chairs were empty. I found a seat. I put my bag down. I sat. I looked out the big window. I saw the airplane. It was large. It was white. The tail had a red logo. I felt a little nervous. I had not flown in a long time. I looked at the people around me. Some people were looking at their phones. Some were eating. Some were just waiting. I heard an announcement. A woman's voice said something. It was not for my flight. I waited. Time passed slowly. I looked at the clock. It was almost time to board. I felt my heart beat faster. I checked my ticket again. I looked at my passport. I put them back in my pocket. The woman's voice spoke again. She called for boarding. She said, "Passengers for flight number 325 to Dubai, please proceed to boarding." That was my flight. People stood up. I stood up too. I picked up my bag. I walked to the line. The line was long. I waited. I moved slowly forward. I gave my ticket to the woman. She scanned it. She said, "Have a good flight." I smiled. I walked through the gate. I walked down a long tunnel. The tunnel was quiet. I could hear my footsteps. I saw the airplane door. A man stood there. He wore a uniform. He said, "Welcome on board." I said thank you. I stepped inside the airplane. It was cool inside. I saw rows of seats. People were putting bags in the overhead space. I found my seat. It was near the window. I put my bag above my seat. I sat down. The seat felt soft. I looked out the window. I saw the wing. I saw the ground crew. They were walking around. Some were wearing yellow vests. I watched them work. A woman in uniform walked past. She smiled. She checked the seats. I felt a little excited. This was the start of my journey. I heard the captain's voice. He said, "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on board." He talked about the weather. He talked about the flight time. I listened. Then the cabin crew showed safety instructions. They showed how to use the seat belt. They showed where the exits were. I watched carefully. The plane started to move. I felt it roll slowly. We moved away from the building. We went to the runway. I saw other planes. Some were landing. Some were waiting. Our plane stopped. I heard the engines get louder. Then we started to move fast. Very fast. I felt my body press back into the seat. I saw the ground move quickly under us. Then the plane lifted. I felt it go up. I saw the ground get smaller. I saw the city below. I saw roads. I saw cars. I saw small buildings. We went higher. The clouds were white and soft. The sky was blue. I felt happy. The plane turned a little. I looked down again. I could see rivers. I could see green fields. It was beautiful. The plane kept climbing. The ground was far away now. The captain said we were at cruising altitude. The engines were quieter. I took a deep breath. I felt relaxed. The crew started to serve drinks. I asked for water. The woman gave me a cup. I drank slowly. I looked out again. The clouds were like mountains. The sun was bright. I felt warm light on my face. Time passed. I thought about my trip. I thought about what I would do when I landed. I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. I closed my eyes for a moment. I felt the hum of the engines. It was calming. I opened my eyes. I saw people eating snacks. Some were watching screens. Some were sleeping. I did not feel tired yet. I just kept looking out the window. The world looked peaceful from up here. The days passed, and I noticed something unusual about myself. It was not my English that surprised me now, it was my mind. The way I thought had started to change. Before, my thoughts were always in my first language, and then I had to translate them into English. This made speaking slow and difficult. But now, more and more, my first reaction was in English. When I saw something, my mind named it in English. When I felt something, my brain searched for the English word first. I did not plan this. It just started happening. It felt like a new door had opened inside my head, and behind that door was a place where English was not a foreign guest, but a permanent resident. I realized why this happened. Every day, I surrounded myself with English sounds, English words, English expressions. It was like living in an English bubble. When I listened to music, I listened in English. When I watched videos, I chose English. Even when I looked at my phone, I set it to English. At first, it was strange. Some words I didn't understand, some menus I had to guess. But little by little, I learned them. That small decision made my world just a little more English each day. And the more English my world had, the faster my brain adapted. But here's the part one never expected: the emotions. I found that when I thought in English, sometimes I felt different. Words carry feelings, and English words carried feelings that were not exactly the same as in my language. A simple "thank you" had a different taste than its translation. Saying, "I'm proud of you," felt warmer and more direct than in my language. It was as if English gave me a second set of emotional colors to paint my thoughts with. That's when I truly understood that language learning is not only about grammar or vocabulary, it's about the heart as much as the mind. There were still hard days, of course. Some mornings I woke up tired and didn't want to listen to anything in English. Some days I met someone who spoke so fast that I caught almost nothing, and it made me feel small again. But I had learned an important secret. The hard days are part of the game. If I stop because it's difficult, I will never move forward. So instead of fighting the hard days, I let them pass like bad weather. Tomorrow would be a sunny day again, and I would understand more. That thought kept me going. One afternoon, I decided to challenge myself. I went to a coffee shop where I knew some foreigners often came. My plan was simple. I would sit there, drink my coffee, and if someone sat near me, I would start a conversation. My heart was beating fast as I waited. Then a man came in and sat at the table next to mine. He had a book in his hand, and I saw the title was in English. My mind raced. Should I speak? What should I say? I remembered a small phrase I had practiced many times. "That's an interesting book." So I took a breath and said it. He looked up, smiled, and said, "Yes, it is. Have you read it?" And just like that, we were talking. The conversation wasn't perfect. I made mistakes. I paused to find words, but I didn't care. I was speaking to a real person, in real life, without fear. That was a victory. From that day, I started looking for small moments to use my English outside my safe practice zone. In the market, if I saw a tourist looking for something, I would try to help. Online, I joined small group discussions in English. Sometimes the people I spoke to were patient, sometimes not. But each time, I learned something new, not only about English, but about myself. I learned that I could survive a conversation even when I didn't know every word. I learned that people don't expect perfection. They just want to connect. And I learned that the more I used my English, the less I feared using it. Slowly, my goals began to change. At first, my dream was just to speak without freezing. Then it was to have a full conversation without switching to my language. Now, my dream was bigger. I wanted to think like a native speaker, not only in words, but in rhythm, in humor, and expression. I noticed that native speakers sometimes didn't answer questions directly. They joked, they told small stories, they played with the language. I wanted to learn that too. So I started paying attention to how they responded, not just to the words they used. I practiced making small jokes in English. Sometimes they were funny, sometimes not at all, but it was part of the learning. And there was another thing: listening. I discovered that listening deeply was one of the fastest ways to grow. Not just hearing the words, but feeling the tone, the pauses, the rise and fall of the voice. It's like music. If you listen enough, you start to predict what's coming next. You can feel when a question is about to be asked or when the speaker is about to finish. This made conversations easier because I could prepare my answer before they even stopped talking. And that skill made me more confident. The most surprising change came when I started dreaming in English. The first time it happened, I woke up and thought, was that real? It was a simple dream. I was in a shop, asking for bread, and the shopkeeper answered in English. But the fact that my brain had chosen English even while sleeping meant that the language had gone deep inside me. It was no longer just something I studied, it was part of who I was. I also noticed that when I read in English now, I could enjoy the story without translating. This was a huge step. Before, Reading was slow because I stopped for every unknown word. Now, I could guess the meaning from the story, and I didn't need to understand every single word to understand the whole. This made reading fun, and because it was fun, I did it more. And because I did it more, my vocabulary grew without effort. It was a good circle that kept turning. One evening, as I sat at my desk, I thought about my journey so far. From the days when I feared speaking to now, when I could start a conversation with a stranger, it felt like a different life. But I knew the journey was not over. English, like any skill, has no final destination. There is always more to learn, more to feel, more to express. That thought didn't make me tired, it made me excited. Because it meant that my adventure with this language could last a lifetime. We walked into the park. The air was fresh. The grass was green. I heard children laughing. I saw people walking dogs. Birds were flying over the lake. It felt peaceful. My mind was calm. Tom pointed to a bench near the water. We sat there quietly for a while. I took a deep breath. The smell of flowers made me smile. Tom said this is a good place to think. I agreed. He said sometimes learning English is like sitting here. You just let it happen. You do not force every moment. You watch. You listen. You take in the world. Then slowly you speak. I thought about this. I remembered how in the beginning I wanted to speak fast. I wanted to be perfect. But now I know that slow is fine. Slow helps the brain. Tom took out a notebook. He wrote a sentence. He told me to read it. The sentence was simple. It said the water is clear. I read it. Then he told me to close my eyes and say it again. I did. He told me to picture the water in my mind. I saw it. It was shining in the sunlight. I smiled. He said, now I am not only saying English words. I am living them. We sat for some more time. Then a man walked by and said hello. Tom said hello back. Then he looked at me. I also said hello. The man smiled. He kept walking. I felt happy because I spoke without thinking. It was natural. Tom noticed it too. He said, see, you are doing it already. I laughed. We decided to walk around the lake. Ducks were swimming. I said, look at the ducks. Tom smiled because I made a sentence by myself. We kept walking. A small dog came near us. It looked at me. I said, hello, dog. Tom laughed. He said animals do not care about grammar. I said maybe that is why I like talking to them. We walked past a group of teenagers. They were talking and laughing. I listened. I could understand a few words. I heard the word weekend. I heard the word football. Tom told me that when I hear words I know, I should try to connect them. I guess they were talking about playing football this weekend. Tom said I was right. This made me feel smart. We found a small cafe in the park. We went inside. It smelled like coffee. Tom said we should order in English. I was nervous, but I agreed. When the waiter came, Tom ordered first. Then I said I would like a tea, please. The waiter asked hot or iced. I said hot, please. He smiled and wrote it down. It felt good. I sat down and told Tom that my heart was beating fast. He said that is normal. Speaking in real life is different from practice. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Our drinks came. The tea was warm. I sipped it slowly. Tom told me a story about how he once ordered coffee but got milk instead because he said the wrong word. We laughed. I realized mistakes are part of the journey. After we finished, we left the cafe. We walked toward the park gate. On the way, a woman stopped us. She asked if we knew where the library was. I froze for a moment. Tom looked at me. I said, yes, it is near the main road. She thanked me and walked away. My hands were shaking, but I was proud. Tom said this is why we go out. You never know when English will find you. We reached the street. The traffic was loud. We walked slowly. I saw a shop with books in the window. I wanted to go inside. Tom agreed. The shop was quiet. I looked at the books. Most of them were in English. I picked up a book with a simple title. It said Small Stories for Big Dreams. I opened it. The words were easy. I read one short story out loud. Tom listened. He told me to read slower and enjoy the words. I did. It felt nice. The shop owner came near us. He said that book is very popular with beginners. I said I like it. He smiled and said then you should keep reading. Tom bought the book for me. I was so happy. We left the shop and kept walking. The sun was lower now. The air was cooler. We reached a bus stop. We sat and waited. Tom asked me what new words I learned today. I said clear, weekend, and iced. He told me to use them in sentences. I said the water is clear. I said I play football on the weekend. I said I do not like iced tea. Tom clapped softly. He said perfect. The bus came. We got on. We sat near the window. I watched the city pass by. I thought about the day. I spoke to strangers. I ordered tea. I gave directions. I read a story. All in English. It was not perfect, but it was real. I felt proud. Tom told me to write about today when I get home. He said writing will help me remember. I promised I would. The bus reached our stop. We got off. The street lights were on. We walked toward home. I felt tired but happy. Tom said tomorrow we will do something new. I asked what. He smiled and said you will see. That night I wrote everything in my notebook. I even drew the ducks and the teacup. I went to bed smiling. I knew that step by step I was becoming someone who could live in English. We waited in the airport lounge. The chairs were soft, but my body felt tired. My back hurt. My eyes wanted to close. But my mind was awake. I kept thinking about the flight. I kept thinking about the city I was going to. The loudspeaker made another announcement. It was for a different flight. I listened carefully, but it was not mine. A man sat next to me. He looked at his watch many times. He looked worried. A woman came and sat on the other side. She was holding a baby. The baby was sleeping. The baby's face looked peaceful. I smiled when I saw it. The woman smiled back at me. I took out my phone again. I checked the time. I checked my ticket. Everything was fine, but I still felt nervous. I drank some water from my bottle. It felt fresh. It helped me relax a little. A group of people walked past me. They were laughing. They seemed excited about their trip. I wondered if they were going to the same place as me. The airport lights were bright. They made everything look clean and shiny. I saw workers cleaning the floor. They pushed big machines. The floor looked like glass after they finished. I looked at the big windows. I could see the runway. I saw planes taking off. I saw planes landing. Each one made a loud sound. The ground shook a little. It felt exciting. I imagined myself on a plane. I imagined the moment it leaves the ground. My stomach would feel light. My heart would beat faster. The loudspeaker called my flight. My heart jumped. I stood up. People around me also stood up. We made a line. We showed our passports and tickets. The airport staff smiled and said, "Have a nice flight." I thanked them. I walked down the long path to the plane. My steps felt heavy and light at the same time. I saw the plane up close. It was huge. Its white body shined under the lights. The engines looked powerful. I felt small next to it. I walked inside. The air smelled different. It smelled like new seats and fresh air. I found my seat. I put my bag above me. I sat down. The seat was small but comfortable. A woman sat next to me. She said hello. I said hello back. She asked if it was my first flight. I said yes. She smiled and said I would enjoy it. People kept coming in. They put their bags away. They found their seats. The cabin crew helped them. They wore neat uniforms. They spoke politely. The plane doors closed. The captain's voice came from the speakers. He welcomed us. He told us about the flight time. He said the weather was good. My hands held the seat tightly. The plane started moving. It went slow at first. Then it went faster. We reached the runway. The engines became louder. My chest shook with the sound. The plane rushed forward. My body pushed into the seat. Then we lifted off. The ground went far away. The city lights became small. My heart raced. My mouth opened in surprise. I had never felt this before. The woman next to me laughed softly. She said, "It's amazing, isn't it?" I nodded. The plane climbed higher. The sky outside turned dark. The stars appeared. The seat belt sign stayed on. The cabin crew walked and checked everything. The engines made a steady sound now. It was like a giant fan. I felt calm. I looked out the window. The clouds looked like white mountains in the moonlight. I wanted to touch them. The captain spoke again. He said we could take off our seat belts. The crew brought food. They gave me a small tray. It had rice, chicken, bread, and juice. I was hungry. The food tasted good. The bread was warm. The juice was sweet. I ate slowly. I enjoyed each bite. After the meal, the lights in the cabin became dim. People started sleeping. The woman next to me closed her eyes. I stayed awake. I looked outside again. The stars were bright. The clouds moved slowly. The world below was dark. I thought about my family. I thought about my home. I felt a little sad, but I also felt happy. I was going somewhere new. My eyes started to close. The soft hum of the plane made me sleepy. I rested my head and drifted into sleep. When I woke up, the cabin lights were on. The crew was serving breakfast. I smelled coffee. I took a cup. It was hot and strong. It helped me wake up. The captain announced we would land soon. My stomach felt a little nervous again. I looked out the window. I saw land. I saw houses and roads. We went lower and lower. My ears felt strange. I swallowed to make them feel better. The plane touched the ground. It made a loud noise. It slowed down. My heart calmed. We stopped. People clapped softly. The woman next to me smiled. She said, "You did it. Your first flight." I smiled back. We left the plane. The air outside was different. It felt warm. I walked into the new airport. It was big and full of people. Signs showed different languages. I looked for my luggage. I found it on the moving belt. I took it and walked toward the exit. My journey had just begun. The morning after the festival felt different. The whole village was quieter, as if the night had left a blanket of calm over the streets. You woke up slowly, still thinking about the music, the lights, and the way the elders' words stayed in your mind. Your voice shapes your world. Those words kept repeating in your head. You sat up, looked out the window, and saw the street almost empty. The stalls were gone, the decorations were taken down, and only a few people were sweeping the ground, clearing the last signs of celebration. It felt a little sad, but also peaceful. You got ready, had a quick breakfast, and decided to go for a walk. As you walked through the market area, you noticed how clean the ground looked after the sweeping. It made you think of your own mind, how sometimes it needed a good sweep to clear out the useless thoughts. You remembered that when you first started speaking English, your head was full of doubts and unnecessary fears. What if I make a mistake? What if they laugh? Those thoughts were like trash on the street. and now you understood that speaking well meant keeping your mind clean. You smiled at the thought and kept walking. You decided to visit the small tea shop at the edge of the village. The owner, Mr. Han, was known for being both quiet and wise. He greeted you with a nod and served you tea without asking what you wanted, as if he knew exactly what you needed. The steam rose from the cup, and the smell was calming. You sat at a small table by the window and took a slow sip. Mr. Han came over and said, "You enjoyed the festival?" You nodded. "Yes, it was beautiful. The music and the elder's speech. It made me think." He smiled. "Good. Festivals are not only for dancing. They are for remembering who we are." You asked him what he thought about speaking. He sat down across from you and said, "Speaking is like pouring tea. Too fast, and you spill. Too slow, and it grows cold. You must find the right flow." His words stayed in your mind. You finished your tea and thanked him. As you walked out, the air felt fresh, almost like it carried a new clarity. You decided to head toward the river. The path was quiet, and the sound of the water grew stronger with each step. When you reached the riverbank, you saw a small boat tied to a wooden post. No one was around. The water was calm, and you could see the sky's reflection on its surface. You sat down on a rock and watched the current. It moved slowly but never stopped. You thought, "This is how I should learn." Slow, steady, but always moving. After a while, you heard footsteps behind you. It was a young boy from the village, carrying a fishing rod. He smiled shyly and said hello. His English was broken, but he tried. You spoke with him slowly, choosing simple words, and you noticed how his face lit up when he understood. That small moment made you realize that language was not just about perfect grammar, it was about connection. Even your small mistakes didn't matter. What mattered was that you understood each other. When the boy left, you stayed by the river a little longer, letting your thoughts drift like the water. You began to think about the next step in your journey. The elder had told you to travel with your words, and you knew that meant speaking to more people, not just in your village but beyond. But how? You didn't have a clear plan yet, only a feeling that the road was waiting. You walked back toward the village in the late afternoon. The sun was lower now, and the light turned everything golden. People were starting to gather in small groups, talking quietly, working, or preparing dinner. You felt a strong sense of belonging, even though you knew your path might take you far from here. That evening, you took out your small notebook, the one you had been carrying since the beginning of your learning journey. You wrote down everything you had learned that day. 1. Keep your mind clear, like a clean street. 2. Speak with the right flow, like pouring tea. 3. Learn slowly but keep moving, like a river. 4. Focus on connection, not perfection. You read those 4 lines again and felt a quiet satisfaction. They were simple, but they held real meaning. You closed the notebook, put it on your table, and looked out the window at the night sky. Somewhere out there, you thought, was the next chapter of your journey, and you were ready. The next morning, you woke early with a strange feeling, as if something was calling you. You packed a small bag, took some bread for the road, and walked toward the main gate of the village. The elder was there, standing alone. He looked at you with a knowing smile. "You are leaving," he said. You nodded. "Yes. I want to see more, speak more, learn more." He placed his hand on your shoulder. "Then go. But remember, the world will teach you, if you listen." With that, you stepped out onto the open road. The sun was just rising, and the path stretched out ahead, full of possibilities. Each step felt light, and each breath felt deep. You didn't know where the road would take you, but you knew your words would travel with you, and that was enough. Tom had never thought much about the sound of his own voice. To him, speaking English was like carrying a box full of fragile glass. He always moved slowly, carefully, afraid to drop anything. But that day, something shifted. He decided to try reading out loud every morning, not just silently. At first, his tongue stumbled, his voice cracked, and his sentences sounded flat. But slowly, with each day, the words began to roll more easily. He read children's books, at first simple, warm stories with clear sentences. They gave him confidence. He imagined the characters speaking to him, and he answered back. It felt strange at first, almost silly, but it was freeing. He was no longer whispering to himself, he was performing, even if only for the walls of his room. One evening, Tom's neighbor, Mr. Ellis, overheard him practicing and knocked on the door. Mr. Ellis was an old man with a soft smile and a love for language. He had been a teacher for 40 years before retiring. "You've got rhythm, lad," Mr. Ellis said, chuckling. "But you need to put more feeling into your words. English isn't just about saying things, it's about making people feel them." That one sentence stayed with Tom. The next morning, instead of just reading, he imagined the emotions behind the sentences: joy, surprise, sadness, excitement. He discovered that even simple words could sound powerful if he spoke them with the right feeling. At work, something surprising happened. During a meeting, his boss asked him a direct question. Normally, Tom's mind would freeze, searching for the right grammar. But this time, his response came faster, almost without thought. It wasn't perfect, but it was clear, and the boss nodded. That moment felt like a small victory. A seed of confidence had been planted. And seeds, Tom knew, only grew if you watered them every day. On weekends, Tom began visiting the park again, but this time with a purpose. He carried a notebook in his pocket, ready to write down any new English words he heard. He sat on benches, sipping coffee, and simply listened. He caught snippets of conversations: two teenagers talking about their weekend, a mother asking her child to hurry up, a man complaining about the weather. Every phrase was a tiny treasure. He would jot them down and later practice saying them aloud, imagining the tone and expression of the original speaker. This habit turned the city itself into his classroom. One rainy afternoon, Tom ducked into a small bookshop to escape the storm. Inside, he found a shelf labeled "Easy English Reads." He picked up a slim book titled "The Little Cafe by the River." The sentences were short, the vocabulary simple, but the story pulled him in. That night, he read it cover to cover, underlining words he didn't know and guessing their meaning from context before checking the dictionary. The next day, he read it again, but this time out loud, making sure his voice matched the mood of the scenes. He realized something important. When you love the story, you forget that you're studying. Encouraged by his progress, Tom decided to try something bold. He joined a small conversation club at the library. The first time he walked in, his hands were sweating and his heart raced. There were 6 people sitting in a circle, chatting about their favorite foods. When it was his turn, his voice trembled, but he pushed through. "My favorite food is pasta with tomato sauce," he said. It was such a simple sentence, yet everyone smiled and nodded. No one laughed at his mistakes. In that moment, Tom understood English was not a test to pass. It was a bridge to connect with people. Weeks turned into months, and his habits began to stack on top of each other like sturdy bricks. Morning reading aloud, notebook in the park, listening to real conversations, talking at the library club. Each small action built his fluency, piece by piece. One day, Mr. Ellis handed him a thin poetry book and said, "Try reading this out loud. Poetry teaches you to listen to the music of language." Tom was hesitant. Poetry felt too advanced. But he tried, and to his surprise, it was fun. The short lines made him slow down, and the rhymes made the words dance on his tongue. One evening, while waiting for the bus, Tom overheard two tourists arguing about directions. Without thinking, he stepped forward and offered help in English. The words came naturally, and their surprised smiles warmed him. As he walked away, he realized something remarkable. He was no longer translating in his head. The English words were simply there, ready to be used. It felt like a key had unlocked a door he had been knocking on for years. That night, sitting by his window with a cup of tea, Tom thought about his journey. There was no single magic trick, no single day when everything changed. It was the small, daily actions that had built his confidence. He remembered the first time he had spoken at the library club, the first book he had read aloud, the first time he had dared to speak to a stranger. These moments were not just practice, they were proof that he could grow. And somewhere deep inside, he knew the journey was far from over. English was not just something to learn, it was something to live. Every conversation, every book, every overheard phrase was another step on a road that stretched far ahead. But now, instead of fearing that distance, Tom looked forward to it. As the plane rose higher into the night sky, I looked out of the small window and saw the city lights growing smaller and smaller until they became tiny dots, like stars on the ground. I thought about how far I had come from the moment I woke up this morning, to packing my bag, to saying goodbye at the airport, and now, here I was, flying to another place. The journey was long, but every step felt like part of an important story. I leaned back in my seat and took a deep breath. The air inside the cabin smelled faintly of coffee and something warm from the kitchen. The flight attendants were moving around, checking seat belts and closing overhead bins. The sound of the engines was steady and strong, like a deep hum in my ears. A little while later, the seatbelt sign turned off, and the flight attendants began serving drinks. I decided to have some water. The coolness of the drink refreshed me. I noticed the passenger sitting next to me, an older man with kind eyes. He smiled and said, "First time flying?" I nodded. "Yes, first time." He told me he had been flying for many years, for work and for visiting his family. "Don't worry," he said, "you'll get used to it. Flying is like a bus ride in the sky." We both laughed quietly. His words made me feel calmer. Talking to someone who had done this many times before gave me confidence. Hours passed, and the lights inside the cabin dimmed. Most passengers were sleeping. I tried to close my eyes, but I was too excited to sleep. Instead, I took out my notebook and started writing about everything I had seen and felt today: the airport, the people, the sound of the announcements, the smell of the food, and the feeling of the plane leaving the ground. I wanted to remember every detail. My handwriting was a little shaky because of the slight movement of the plane, but I didn't mind. This was part of the experience. The flight attendants came by again, offering snacks. I took a small packet of biscuits. Eating in the air felt strange but interesting. The taste of the biscuit was simple, but I enjoyed it. Outside the window, I could see nothing but darkness, except for a few distant lights far below. I imagined we were flying over mountains, rivers, or maybe even a sleeping city. The thought made me smile. Somewhere down there, people were dreaming, and here I was, above them, moving toward a new chapter in my life. After several hours, the captain's voice came through the speakers, announcing that we would be landing soon. My heart started to beat faster. This was the moment I had been waiting for to see my destination for the first time. The cabin lights came on, and passengers began to prepare. I put away my notebook, tightened my seat belt, and looked out the window again. Slowly, lights began to appear below roads, houses, and buildings glowing in the early morning darkness. The city looked peaceful, like it was still waking up. The plane descended lower and lower, and soon I could make out cars moving along the roads. The engines changed their sound as the plane slowed down. Then, with a soft but firm bump, we touched down on the runway. The sound of the wheels rolling against the ground filled the cabin. I felt a rush of relief and excitement. The plane slowed, turned, and made its way toward the gate. People began to take out their phones, send messages, and gather their belongings. I just sat there for a moment, letting it all sink in. I had done it my first flight, my first big journey. When the plane stopped and the seatbelt sign went off, everyone stood up. I reached for my bag in the overhead compartment, making sure I didn't forget anything. As I stepped into the aisle, I glanced at the older man who had spoken to me earlier. "Good luck," he said with a smile. "Enjoy your time here." I thanked him and wished him the same. We walked together toward the exit of the plane, and the fresh air from the open door greeted us. It smelled different, a mix of morning air and the scent of a new place. I took a deep breath and stepped out onto the bridge connecting the plane to the airport. My feet felt light, as if I was walking into a dream. Inside the terminal, signs in both English and the local language guided us toward passport control. The line was long, but I didn't mind. I looked around at the other travelers, some with big suitcases, others with just backpacks. People spoke in different languages, their voices mixing into a soft background sound. When it was my turn, I handed my passport to the officer. He looked at it, then at me, and asked a few simple questions. "Purpose of your visit? How long will you stay?" I answered clearly, and he stamped my passport with a quick motion. That small sound of the stamp felt like an official welcome. I walked through the baggage claim area and spotted my suitcase on the carousel. Pulling it off, I felt grateful that it had arrived safely. Outside the arrivals hall, people were waiting, some holding signs with names, others waving to friends and family. I didn't know anyone here, so I followed the signs toward the taxi stand. The air outside was cool and fresh. The sky was beginning to turn light as the sun prepared to rise. A taxi driver approached me and asked where I was going. I showed him the address I had written down. He nodded and helped me put my suitcase in the truck. As we drove through the quiet streets, I looked out at the city. The buildings, the street lights, the shapes of the roads, everything felt new and exciting. I imagined what the day ahead would bring. The driver dropped me off in front of a small guest house. I thanked him, paid the fare, and stepped inside. The receptionist greeted me warmly and gave me the key to my room. My room was simple but comfortable: a small bed, a desk, a window with a view of the street below. I put my suitcase down and opened the window. The morning air came in, carrying with it the scent of fresh bread from a nearby bakery. I smiled. This was at the start of something new. I sat on the bed for a moment, thinking about the journey I had just completed. It was more than just traveling from one place to another. It was about learning to take each step with patience, to observe, to feel, and to remember. I knew this trip would stay in my memory for a long time. After washing my face and changing clothes, I decided to explore the neighborhood. The streets were quiet, but small shops were beginning to open. I passed a cafe where a few people were sitting outside, sipping coffee. The smell was inviting, so I stepped inside. The barista smiled and greeted me in the local language. I ordered a coffee and a small pastry. Sitting by the window, I watched the city slowly come to life. I thought about all the moments from today, the airport, the flight, the landing, and now, sitting here in a new place. It felt like the beginning of an adventure that was still unfolding. I didn't know exactly what would happen next, but that was the beauty of it. Sometimes, not knowing is what makes the journey special. Tom woke up earlier than usual the next morning. The soft sunlight came through the small window in his room, and the air was cool and fresh. He lay in bed for a few minutes, thinking about the day ahead. His mind went back to the English notebook he had filled with new words over the past week. Each page felt like a small piece of progress. He knew he had a long way to go, but he also knew that he was not the same person who had started just a month ago. His sentences were longer now. His vocabulary was bigger. His fear was smaller. He made himself a simple breakfast: bread, butter, and tea, and while eating, he spoke out loud in English about what he was doing. I am eating bread. I am drinking tea. The tea is hot. The bread is soft. It sounded simple, but this small act made him think in English instead of translating in his head. He remembered that his teacher, Mr. Paul, once told him, "Every time you describe your life in English, you are training your mind to live in English." Tom liked that idea. After breakfast, Tom decided to go for a walk to the park. The morning was quiet, with only the sound of birds and a few people jogging. As he walked, he tried to make small English sentences in his mind about what he saw. The grass is green. The sky is blue. That man is running. The dog is barking. Then he challenged himself to make the sentences a little longer. The grass is green and wet from the morning dew. The sky is blue with a few small white clouds. These small steps made him feel like he was gently stretching his English muscles. When he reached the park bench, he sat down and took out a small pocket dictionary. It was old and a little torn at the edges, but it was one of his favorite tools. He opened it to a random page and found the word gentle. He read the example. The wind is gentle today. He looked around. The breeze was soft on his face, and he whispered to himself, "The wind is gentle today." He wrote it down in his notebook and added 2 more sentences. She spoke in a gentle voice. The gentle rain fell on the roof. A woman passed by with a little girl. The girl was holding a balloon, and Tom thought, "The girl has a red balloon." Then he added more. "The girl is happy. The balloon is round and shiny." He realized that by adding details, he could make his sentences richer without using complicated words. He smiled, knowing this was a skill he could keep practicing anywhere. After spending some time in the park, Tom decided to visit the library. The library was one of his favorite places because it was quiet, and it smelled of old books and paper. He walked to the English section and found a children's storybook. It had colorful pictures and short sentences. Tom sat by the window and began to read slowly, moving his finger under each word. When he came across a new word, he looked at the picture to guess the meaning before checking the dictionary. This guessing game made him feel curious and engaged. One story was about a boy and his cat. The boy's name was Jack, and the cat's name was Milo. Tom read. Jack and Milo played in the garden. He paused and made his own sentences. Tom and his notebook are in the library. Tom is reading a story about a boy and his cat. He realized he could replace names and objects in stories with his own to make them feel personal and easier to remember. Time passed quickly in the library. By the time Tom looked at his watch, it was almost lunchtime. He closed the book, borrowed it, and walked back home. On the way, he thought about something Mr. Paul had said. When you take a word from the page and use it in your own life, you make it yours forever. At home, he prepared a simple lunch, and, just like in the morning, he narrated his actions in English. I am cutting the bread. I am putting butter on the bread. The butter is cold. The bread is warm. While eating, he decided to listen to a short English podcast for beginners. The speaker talked slowly, and the sentences were clear. Tom repeated after the speaker, trying to match the voice and tone. At first, he made small mistakes, but he didn't stop. He knew that repeating was part of the process. After lunch, Tom felt a little tired, so he decided to rest for half an hour. Instead of scrolling through his phone, he played an English audiobook. He didn't understand every word, but he listened for the general idea. The story was about a little bird learning to fly. Tom imagined the bird as himself learning step by step, falling sometimes, but always trying again. When he woke up from his short rest, Tom felt refreshed and ready for the afternoon. He spent some time reviewing the words he had learned that week. He had a habit of writing each word on a small piece of paper and sticking it on the wall. The wall next to his desk was now full of words like gentle, bright, quiet, and proud. Every time he passed by, he read them aloud. Before sunset, Tom decided to meet his friend Anna at the cafe near the train station. Anna was also learning English, and they had a rule. When they met, they would only speak English, no matter how simple or broken their sentences were. At first, their conversations had been full of pauses and laughter at their mistakes, but now they could talk for much longer without switching to their native language. At the cafe, Tom greeted Anna with a smile. "Hello, Anna. How was your day?" Anna replied, "It was good. I went to the market. I bought some apples." They continued talking about small things: food, weather, and weekend plans. Sometimes they stopped to search for a word, but they always helped each other. When the waiter came to take their order, Tom ordered in English, "1 tea for me, please, and 1 coffee for her." The waiter nodded, and Tom felt a quiet pride inside. As the evening came, Tom walked home under the soft orange sky. He thought about the day. He had spoken English in the morning, at the park, in the library, at home, and at the cafe. It was not perfect, but it was real. Every word was like a small brick in a growing wall of confidence. He knew tomorrow would bring more chances to practice, more mistakes to make, and more lessons to learn. And that thought made him feel both calm and excited. That night, before sleeping, Tom opened the borrowed children's storybook again. He read a few pages, whispered the sentences, and imagined the scenes in his mind. His last thought before closing his eyes was in English. Tomorrow is a new day,